Hey guys, Carell Cooper here with On the Black with my weekly chat with Dave Doyle of Mets Report. Hey Dave, how you doing?
Good, thanks.
So we won the first series. We're 2-1.
Absolutely. End the season now.
Yeah, right. So it's interesting because you would have thought the world was coming to an end after the Mets lost the season opener on Friday, but they bounced back. They won the last two games, and again, it's only Florida. It's only 3 games, but I think that this was the best possible scenario. I don't think you could have asked for anything more. And me personally, outside of Pelfrey's pitching performance, I was pretty satisfied with these 3 games in Florida.
Me too. And Pelfrey was really disappointing to start the game with a big dud like that. But boy, Willie Harris is red hot right now. He really is. I certainly don't expect him to keep it up for the whole season, but they should try to get him in there as often as possible right now because he's on fire.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I mean, he's been this way since like the first day at camp. I remember, the first intra-squad game in spring training. I think he hit like a home run or something like that, and
Yeah.
he's just been really dialed in since the beginning of camp, and it's good to see, especially with Bay being out and with Beltran going to need rests here and there. It's good that he's gotten off to that good start. The one thing I would say about this series that kind of stands out to me as a positive point is the aggressiveness, of some of the players and the way that they played. Harris in the first game, I think he stretched a single into a double. Even
Yep.
today, David Wright going first to third, he got thrown out at third, but I liked the play. I liked the fact that he made Cousins make a perfect throw and throw him out. So I really like the aggressiveness we're seeing so far.
I did too, and it's a long season, and I remember the last couple years Jerry Manuel. But it did seem like the last couple of years that just generally speaking, there just wasn't like a fire there behind the team. So, and I felt like there was something there in this series in Florida that these guys were really going out to give the Marlins a beating, and they really did it, especially today with that 9-2 game. So I was really impressed. It was good to see. Great way to start the season, but the real test is going to be coming up soon.
Yeah, and let's talk about a little bit about the Phillies series. Mets will be in Philadelphia Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. Chris Young gets to start on Tuesday, and then I think Pelfrey on Wednesday and Nice on Thursday. And, I said this in my own blog post on my blog that I think it's important for the Mets to get off to a good start this year. In the first month of the season, 18 games against NL East opponents, 6 of them against the Phillies. And, I know the Phillies pitching staff is tough, but I really hope the Mets can go in there and take 2 out of 3.
Oh, that would be fantastic. And they're going to be going up against Hamels, Blanton, and Halladay. So if
They should win the first 2.
Exactly. Yeah. And, Nice going against Halladay, I believe, in that third game. So that's a rough one. But if they could win 2 out of 3 in Philly and after taking a series in Florida, that would just be, a fantastic start to the season. Better than most people, including me, would have ever expected from this team. But I am going to be curious to see how Chris Young looks going against Cole Hamels in that first game.
Yeah, and I was going to say that too. The one thing I think that stands out for me the most about this series is I'm really interested to see how Chris Young looks. I thought that both Young and Capuano, even though Capuano didn't pitch well in this third game against the Marlins, I thought both of those were good signings by the Mets this offseason. I think both of them will work out in the long run. And Young, his first game as a Met, he's going to be thrown right into the rivalry.
Absolutely. Get your first start in Philly is a good way to get things going. So I'm going to be very curious to see how he looks in that game. and how he stands up to the Phillies lineup. Of course, it's down a little bit from what we've seen in the past with no Jason Worth and Utley's out for some period of time. So it's not quite the same lineup that we're used to seeing there, but still, I mean, they've got a serious team there.
Yeah, and again, I mean, if they can somehow win 2 out of 3 in this series and build that momentum to their home opener against Washington, I think that would be excellent for the Mets. We'll see. Any other thoughts you got on the series from Florida? Any comments on Daniel Murphy playing second today, or Beltran out in right field?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And Beltran looked okay in right field, but he looked great hitting the ball too. And I think that's kind of where they are with Beltran right now, is that he's almost kind of like a DH for them as much as possible, that they're trying to hide him in right field. And he did drop an easy ball in the second game in Florida. But he looked okay out there, and but he hit really well. He was putting good wood on the ball just about every time he came up, and it would be great if they could get that out of him all season. Daniel Murphy at second base, I don't know. He's another guy I think they're going to try to hide in the field during the season, but he hit the ball well, and I liked what I saw from Emis at second base. Mm-hmm. He played well, and it's amazing that you can get a guy for $400,000 a year doing the same thing that Castillo was for $6 million a year. So it's a good start. Very good.
Yep. So yeah, we'll see. Our next chat we'll have a lot more to talk about. We'll be able to talk about the Phillies series. We'll be able to talk about the home opener series against Washington. So. Looking forward to the 3 in Philly and against Washington at home. And thanks for joining me tonight, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, and for those of you out there watching, remember Dave and I will be doing these weekly chats every week covering previous week of the Mets and looking ahead. So check out Dave over at Mets Report. And, of course, you can check me out at On the Black. Talk to you soon, Dave.
Thank you.